Hello everyone, today we're going to show you how to make ribs, Pat's famous ribs. I really think that you're going to like these, so let's get to it. First, what you're going to do is get yourself a pack of ribs. Right here we got the Smithfield baby back ribs. We got about 12 bucks for the whole deal, so get yourself a pack of baby back ribs. Smithfield's usually the brand we grab over here. Get yourself, I'm using a Pyrex glass dish right now. I put a little bit of oil in the bottom of it. Just going to use a little napkin to get the oil spread around on here for you. Get a little bit of lubrication. Usually the ribs will have enough grease in them as you get going. And now we're going to take out the magic sauce, which is in the description. We will have the ingredients to make your own homemade rib glaze. Alright, so we'll put that back there for now. Cap off. First things first, I worked in the kitchen for 10 months. Gloves, gloves, gloves. Even though you can wash your hands after, I like using gloves. So I'm going to get some gloves here to put on, and I will be right back. Alright, now we got gloves. Before you start preparing the ribs, it takes about 10-15 minutes to do. We're going to go over here to the oven, and we're going to put it on bake at about 350. I always make sure there's nothing in the oven. Alright. Now we're going to start cutting up the ribs and getting them bad boys placed into the Pyrex. So get your gloves on. Get yourselves your favorite knife. I like to use a serrated knife. And some people like to cut them in, batches of, let's say, 2 or 3 ribs. I like to cut them one by one. That's just me personal. Alright, so we got that bad boy opened up. Slide this onto there. Do your best to not get any of this nasty blood and pig juice all over. Alright, we are ready to roll. Let's get going. So what you want to do is cut in between the bones. Find the first bone and cut right after it. I like to cut them into just one rib. I like to munch one rib at a time, and as you see while I'm cooking here, I like to manage them and keep them rotating so that both sides can get a nice glaze on them. But I'm going to separate all the ribs first. Then I'm going to dunk them in the sugar coating. So we will come back to you after we got all of these cut up, alright? Alright, so we're back. Just cut the last couple of them. Again, you want to find a bone, get the knife right on the outside of it, slice right through, pick up, hold them both, blow. Find a bone, get on the outside of it, hold them together, there you go. Nothing really to it. This is one big ass rib though left here. Holy shit. I don't even think that one has a bone. Yeah, there's a bone. There's a bone. Alright. So now, get our knife there. I am going take these gloves off for a second. As you can see, I'm a little bit of a germaphobe about the meat juices. We're gonna wash our hands after. It's just, if you've ever gotten sick from food poisoning, you don't ever want to get like that again. And if you can do whatever you can in your power to try to avoid that, that's basically what I'm doing here. I just do not want to get food poisoning, and contaminated meat can do that. If you touch contaminated meat, that's an easy way to do that. Alright, so now we got the special seasoning over here. We are going to put our gloves back on, and we're going to get rolling here. So, I'm going to start with our first one here. Take it, dunk, and roll. We'll get a little bit better in here for you. So now you should get a good idea of how the process works for dunking and rolling. And these are the best ribs I've ever tasted. The recipe is not mine, it is Meathead's. If you guys are big foodie people, maybe you know who Meathead is. But yeah, this is how I do mine. But there's a process to how I do it. Ingredients aren't everything, it's also about how you cook the food too. So just get them in there, roll them in there, get them nice and full of seasoning. Dry rub, I think is what they call it. Yeah, get those on the side. Just work those B-boys. You can never put too much. You should shake it out after though. Alright, so we're going to check back in. We got a couple left. We'll do most of these off camera here, and we'll do a couple more back once we finish up. Alright? Alright, we are back to get our last couple. And sucker is dunked in. Alright, so while I'm cooking these, I like to flip them into a different pan because the sugar caramelizes and then it can start to burn on the bottom of the pan and it can really smoke out the oven. So every time I flip them about every 45 minutes, I put them on a new pan. And I was using, this is the first time I'm using Pyrex glass. We'll see how it works, but I'm still planning on flipping it onto a pan, cleaning out the Pyrex. You know, you put a little bit of foil and put a little bit of oil on top of the foil. It's just the easiest way to clean it. It's so efficient, so keep that in mind. So this is actually two. No, it's going to be one great ass rib. Alright, so now that we got them all dry rubbed up, we're gonna let them sit for about, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes in the fridge. Wash my hands real quick. Always wash your hands. Again, you do not want to get food poisoning. You will thank me if you don't get it. Food poisoning is one of those weird things. You never know when you didn't get it because you just feel normal, but the times you do get it, you'll remember. You'll want to avoid that shit for the rest of your life. Alright, so I'm going to let these sit for about 10 minutes here, and then I'm going to come back to you guys and we'll finish up this start of this video. Alright. And we are back. So we have let these sit for 10 minutes. We are gonna go ahead and throw these in the oven. Our oven is at 350, ready to roll. So I'm gonna throw these in the oven, and I will check back with you guys when we're doing the flip process. Alrighty, now we're gonna take the ribs out. It's been about 30 minutes in the oven. We're gonna take the ribs out and flip them. Let some of this goodness settle here. Unfortunately, you can't smell it through the camera, but my lordy lord, we are smelling grand. Alright, so always make sure to use clean tongs every time you flip them. Obviously right now the ribs are going to be still a little bit raw. So I'm going to flip these bad boys. We got a lot of juices cooking up down there. Sugar's starting to caramelize. Just starting to. And you'll see on the next flip, I'm going to move these over to a pan, and I'm going to add this brown sugar into the juices on the bottom, and then I'm going to give it a glaze around all the ribs. A little bit of a glaze on top. Yeah, it's just trial and error stuff you learn through cooking a few times. We literally just made these on Friday night, and they didn't last till the next day, so I figured I'd make a video, and I wanted some ribs again, so. Alright, so we got these all flipped. And we can rinse off that. Again, the food is still raw. Not fully cooked yet, so we want to make sure the tongs that we use are clean. Again, like I said, if you've gotten food poisoning, you do not want to experience this shit ever again in your life. And if that means maybe being a little paranoid or maybe doing something that looks crazy to other people, I'm fine with it. I do not want to get sick. Alright, so we're going to take those, put those down. Now, if you watched any of my videos, you do know I am an idiot, so obviously I'm going to make stupid shit like that harder than it has to be. Alright, now we're going to put this goodness back in the oven. You can just see the glaze on those. Alright. And they go back in. And we will get back to you. Alright, we are on flip number 2, and here we go. So I got the brown sugar. I took them out of the Pyrex. I'm going to add some brown sugar to this juice down here. That should be enough. It's already full of brown sugar. I don't think you can add too much. We're going to mix it in, make a nice glaze with this. It's already got plenty of brown sugar and stuff in it, but this is really going to get things going in the right direction for this glaze sauce. And it's going to thicken up a little bit while it's cooling off here. We'll mix that in, and now we're going to put one rib back. I'm not even going to use the foil. This Pyrex is holding up real nice. We're just going to glaze the glaze on each rib. Let it settle. And yeah, these are gonna come out amazing. I just already know it. So glaze it. All right. So you see how I'm taking, I mean, and that's what I'm talking about, is that everyone can have the same ingredients, but ingredients aren't everything. So as you can see, at the end of this, when these ribs got this amazing glaze and texture, and they just melt in your mouth, it's not just, you know, getting the seasoning and mixing it together and throwing them on and forgetting about them for 2 hours. You can do that. You could easily cook ribs like that, and they'll come out tasting great, but me personally, taste is not everything. You got texture, you got, you know, temperature. So, you know, I take all that stuff into account when I'm eating. And that's kind of the thing that, you know, kind of gets hidden, or I guess lost on, is that when people eat really good food, they really don't know what it goes into making that, how good it tasted, you know, until you go somewhere and you get shit food. Then you realize, hey, that place was really good. So I'm going to finish up these last couple. I think you get the idea for glazing, and we'll show them putting them back in. Alright, so we got the last couple here. I'm going to get these all glazed up nicely. Try to use as much of this glaze. I mean, it's all going to fall back down to the bottom anyhow, but the point is just to get them glazed as much. And this last bad boy. Alright, so we are going to get these back in the oven now. And I like to, I usually turn it down a little bit. I'm not gonna, but sometimes slow cooking it for a little bit longer helps. You know, just turn it down a little bit. And we got about a half hour left, and these ribs are going to be ready to roll. Back with the final result. Right, and the ribs are done, and they smell great. This is the final product here. As you can see, final product. You can hear them sizzling. These bad boys are going to be good. So now, I'm going to go ahead and take these out and get you a couple shots of what these bad boys are looking like. Oh yeah. Alright, well, thanks for watching my video, and if you want to learn how to make some good ribs or just watch interesting content, check back in. Thanks a lot. Bye.